question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm using color fix and it comes in many colors. Is there a color in particular you recommend?
Great question.
Should it be like a dark like this because it looks like that, or should it be a contrasting more like that?
Ooh, good idea. Good question.
Either one. Do you go by Sandra or Sandy? Which do you prefer?
Sandra. Because it's already short for Alexandra, so.
Oh, perfect. No, so that's a good question. Generally, this pastel matte color is just the last of what I had, so that's what I'm using today. But it is something to think about. When I did the piece that I posted, I did use a darker background. So yeah, if I were to choose today, probably with your navy blue would work well.
Okay. Thank you.
And maybe you should do it with both a light and a dark.
No, it's going to be hard enough to do it in 2 hours.
Yeah, probably.
In one.
Yeah, and so that's another thing too. Sometimes I cut those pieces in half, and so you could do that too, and just do smaller studies.
Okay, and so check Marie and see if you click on the 3 dots on your picture and see if you have the option to spotlight for everyone.
Okay.
Oh, you did it.
That works.
Did it work?
So that means everybody will. That's what people will see. And when you switch your camera, now try switching your camera over.
Now that's what I was going to try, but okay, here we go.
Awesome. It's good. You're good. All right. So if I make you a co-host, you can do that. Excellent. Okay.
And everyone can see okay?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of walk through the first process of this picture that I selected. So if everyone can kind of just look at, Leah sent it over in the WhatsApp as well. For me, in choosing this picture, which I had actually got from a site that posts free pictures, so that's something to be careful about. But I won't get into that today. But what I loved about this picture was the lighting, and you can kind of see this really lovely orangey yellow kind of coming in the back of the picture, and then the reflection on the water. And so something to think about with this picture is in the piece that I kind of practiced on, I actually brought down the trees, and that's something you get to do as an artist. You can change a little bit of the composition. So I wanted to kind of bring more of that warm light in, and that's what I'm going to do today. So when I start to begin on the pastel mat, I'm going to be using a new pastel, which is a hard pastel, and it looks like this, and it's a navy blue. And I'm going to do essentially like a value sketch. So if you're looking at your picture, I tend to kind of squint my eyes, and what it does is it blurs all the details out and really looks, you can see the lights and the darks. And so that's what I'm going to start doing right now is I'm going to sketch in, squinting, and I'm going to lower this horizon line a little bit. And so, and being very aware of where this river is. I don't want the horizon, this line to be dead center. I don't want it dead center in my pastel. I want it off center and up. If I were to bring this line way up here, it would make our river, the vantage, it would be off. And so perspective, too high, yes. So we want to think about our perspective too. So we want to kind of bring it off center, so, and up. So I'm holding my new pastel just on the edge, kind of just going in a straight line. And yes.
So sorry to interrupt you. quick question.
Yeah.
I have a very limited palette and I have oils. I have like a light blue and an ultramarine blue. You would
Uh-huh.
Are you using oil pastels, Marcel?
Yeah.
Okay, this is so just be aware it's a different process
Yeah.
than dry pastels. It's going to do different things. So don't be expecting a result that's the same. I don't know how well, try it, but I'm not sure how well oil pastels layer. But this is definitely more of a dry pastel technique, but I think it'll still work. So
Like more of like is it more chalky versus?
Yeah, it's chalk versus crayony, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I have had people using oil pastels take my pastel class, and it's been fine. So it's just expect a slightly different a different result is all I'm saying.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I've not worked with oil pastels, so I'll be interested to see how that works too.
Yeah.
No, good question. So as we're looking, we're going to break it down, and I know Leah has talked about this in our drawing classes, but shapes. And so we're looking at this shape right here. And if you break it down into smaller shapes, this is kind of how I'm going to approach the sketching on my pastel. So my focal point is going to be right in here. And so I'm just using this side.
Could you use like a red or something brighter that we can see you're marking the shapes?
Yeah, can you take a red pastel, Marie, and mark that on so that people can see the.
Yeah, do you want me to go closer?
No. What they want is for you to take on the photograph. Can you take a bright red pastel so that they can actually see those lines?
Yes.
Good training. They've learned this by watching my mistakes.
Yes, no, that's okay. And then I'll take a picture so you can see that too. No, that's exactly great.
Yeah, it's a little easier to see.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And particularly with the picture that they can look at on WhatsApp.
Yep. Okay, good. So, and this, I suggest I can do it now just by looking at the picture, but starting out, I still look at my middle, my centerpiece, and where I want my composition to sit. So spend time with that piece of it. And otherwise it won't look perspective wise correct. And so this is just, we're going to keep it very simple. And I'm just going to be kind of thinking about, you know, the edges. And I'm just using the edge of my new pastel. And I do like, there's this tree. I kind of like that. And I kind of like that curve. And so I'm going to put it in. And this is just kind of my roadmap. I'm just kind of going up and using the edge of my pastel. And I am painting kind of at a awkward angle. So I apologize. I'm kind of still getting the studio set up for teaching here.
Notice how much, you guys, she's using the fat edge of her pastel and not the pointed edge. So you see she's doing some strong hard lines, but more soft edges as she's laying this out.
And this is all just trees in the dark. And
so are you drawing every tree, Marie, or are you just
I'm not
getting the biggest one? Are you getting the biggest ones?
Yep, I'm just kind of looking to see, you know, I want to have some linear trees here. And you know, it's easy to want to go and paint every detail. Right now, what I'm trying to do is create a roadmap, and it's a value sketch, essentially. I'm looking at the darks. I know this is going to be lighter. I'm bringing down the sky a little bit because I would like to see more of that sky because this is our focal point. And so I'm kind of just looking at the shadows in the water and kind of just indicating where that's at. And, you know, the bank here. And then.
And notice, you guys, that when you really know you're onto a good painting, does anybody think this looks good right now? Right? It's good.
Exactly.
Looks good.
Was thinking this.
Right. So notice your sign to yourself is that we think we have to have a lot of detail, but really it's more about blocking out the major lights and darks and using hard and soft mark making. So using the edge of the pastel to make sharp lines in some places, and in some places, and already it's starting to read. So that tells you something about where this is going. If your underpainting is doing this, imagine where the final painting will go. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Stop right there, Marie, stop.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I was like saying, stop, don't do anymore.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so let me take a picture. Sorry, I'm going to cover up this. See if I can get a better angle here.
How do you do these trees, this shape of trees? Like, can you do one on another piece of paper? Just show us.
Yeah.
It's not just a vertical line.
So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the edge of my pastel, and I'm using that edge, that hard pastel, and I'm just kind of pushing up, and I'm lightly going back and forth and pushing up. And it doesn't have, can you hear it on the sanded
Great,
paper?
thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
And just very lightly. And you can make just very light, very light. It doesn't have to be hard. No, good question. And that's really what we want to do is put in our darks. And I mean, I can still do some more. I'm kind of feeling like maybe the edge of my painting is going to stop right here, but maybe not all the way to the edge. So that's something to also kind of keep in mind. Let's see what everyone else has done if they want to send over their work.
It looks terrible right now.
I'm sure it looks fine.
The first time you start something, you don't necessarily have the hand right. So remember, Marie makes this look easy because she's been doing it for years and years, every day.
One of the things I did, because I was using this dark paper and we have this light, I put
nice.
the light behind because it's going to be impossible to do once the trees are there.
What?
Oh, so it's okay. Like if you I see what you mean. So one thing to keep in mind is even with your toned paper, you can still use darks on it. You can still add your lights to it. It's just, it will be a little bit. I
just thought it'd be easier to do now, just in that very light part at the end. I'll show you. Rather than trying to add it once the trees are there.
Yeah, send the picture out.
Yeah.
By the way, Marcel, that's very nice. I like how that's looking already. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice use of soft and hard edges. It's a little bit stickier.
Oh, okay.
So Sandra.
Yes, the trees look terrible.
Well, why do they look terrible? What are you not doing that Marie has done? I want you to look closely at this sample.
I asked her after I'd done the trees, so I tried to fix them. But
so Marie, but I want to point out to you again and again, we have this conversation that you've got to pay it. Like it's better to not work and watch how the teacher is working before you try, because the technique is different. Marie, how would you suggest she fix this?
Well, I I would go in with your blue back into where your trees are. And I would just do what I showed you with your pastel and go back in there and fill in. Don't try to, so the hard part about trees or landscapes is you just want to draw every leaf, right? You want to draw every branch. We just want a suggestion. We're just looking at the lights and the darks right now.
So look at the closeness. Look at Marie's piece closely, and you're going to see that she has a lot of marks going this way and that way, filling up almost all of that side of the paper. So instead of having spaces where there is no pastel, every part of that left side of the paper is covered with pastel. It's mostly soft markings using your flat part, you know, the flat part. So take your blue and go back over. And Marie, you start taking a look at what people are sending in and make some suggestions. Jean came first, then Claudia, then Lisa B. So if you could give a suggestion.
Oh, okay, yes. All right, Jean, very nice. Yeah, so what you want to do, Jean, is off to the left side of your bank, maybe do a little bit more indication of where that river is going to go, right? Because it's going to curve to the left, so we kind of need to know where that bank is. Just
so
up
how
above.
does she do that?
Oh, okay.
So you would need to take your pastel and so see how this is curving off to the edge around, and let me switch cameras to kind of show you. But what I'm talking about is up here. So we know the river is curving and curving and going this way, right? Okay. So we want to not lose that piece of it.
So you're going to take your edge of your pastel, the hard edge, and you're going to draw, actually, that's someplace where there's going to be a hard line. Marie, point to it where the hard line is.
The hard line is going to be right in here.
So see that sort of angle line? So you guys want to add that in too. Make sure you've got that. And Jean, if you'll see, she's got a hard line kind of coming down all the way down the left side. I think Claudia can also use that.
Yes. That's what I was going to say.
You've kind of got it, but a little bit more. Linda, very nice. That's got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep looking.
So, and just remember, less is more. So we want to just indicate when we're using our pastel very light. I am dragging very lightly on this. And so in our reference photo, you can see the tips of the trees, and it's cut out of the photo here. So one thing we want to do when that happens is it can be confusing to the person who's looking at the painting. Our job as an artist is to create a painting that holds our eye. It has a focal point. The composition is not, dead center. The rule of thirds come into play. I know that all these things kind of bombard you, but we do, when we're thinking about our painting, we want to make it easy on the viewer. And
okay,
so,
Marie, you've got two more pieces. You've got two more people to look at. So if you can take a look at the WhatsApp thread and look at Janet Roberts and Cindy.
Okay, Cindy's Janet. Very nice. Janet, I would use more of the edge of your pastel and kind of bring some down into the water to indicate where your shadows are. And don't be nervous to drag that pastel down. It's not going to ruin anything. So just go ahead and bring it down on the edge, just very lightly.
Excellent. Cindy is the next one.
Okay, Cindy, yes. So when I'm drawing and splitting out the sections, just be careful of not putting in those actual lines. So that's just to kind of give you a generalization of where we want to put in the trees. So that line that's kind of going, that angled line, I wouldn't.
Should she scrub that out?
Might scrub that out, because that might be confusing to the viewer, right? Because that's really not there.
Good. Take a look at Natalia's.
Very nice. That looks great.
We put the lines of the trees in that reflection at the bottom.
Not yet.
We will at the end a little bit. We're going to suggest it, but right at this moment, you can bring it down with the side like this to indicate, just
But
very
light.
lightly. But at this point, we're really just wanting to see where our darks are and where our lights are, because, you know, we see some snow up here. We don't want to add too much pastel where the snow is. We know it's going to be in shadow, but it's way darker where the trees are. So that's where we'd fill in, right? That's when you're squinting your eye really helps. When you're squinting, you're seeing that light and then the dark, okay? And we see some more dark down here where the snow's coming in.
So the key is not to layer. In the lightest areas, you're not putting light pastel at the beginning. You're just doing dark pastel lighter, okay?
Yes.
This is all being done with one color. There is not multicolors at this point. This is just a kind of dark blue pastel. Your temptation, yeah, go ahead.
And we're just, like I said, I'm going horizontally because we know the water is, you got to think about planes and the planes. Trees, upright, vertical, right? So that's how we're going to run our pastel. With the water, we're going to drag across.
Using the wide part of the pastel, not the pointy part. Not the pointy part.
The pointy part comes in if we want to come up here and we want to add maybe a tip to the tree, or maybe want to indicate a little bit of like limbs. But even still, you can do that on the edge, just like that.
Right.
So you don't, your eye is going to see this and say, those are trees. And you don't have to do a whole lot. It's quite amazing.
So guys, the only other thing I'm going to jump in here and say, because I can see it happening in several of the sketches, is that you're a little bit treating each tree like it's an individual thing.
Exactly.
So you're creating right now you're creating a separation between trees where there's nothing. And the truth is, if you look at the left side of this paper, Marie, can you point to it? The left side of the painting, of the
right here.
Yeah, there's tree. Yeah. It's dense forest. There's many trees. There's no space that you can really see between trees. It's like a big clump of trees. So even though your mind, your left brain wants you to create 1, 2, 3 separate trees like little soldiers, that's not what's happening here. What we're seeing is a clump of trees together. So there needs to be more coverage and less distinction, less like spaces with nothing in them between the trees. Where there is not a tree trunk, there are leaves. So that whole left side should be pretty much, except for the little snowy area in the bottom left corner, should be pretty much covered, except for the little areas that Marie's blocked out.
Yep.
Oh, that looks great, Janet. Good job. Okay,
oh yeah, I like that.
Go ahead and I think, does anybody else want to send theirs in? Oh yeah, here we go. Nice. That's gorgeous.
And that's great. So that's exactly what I want you to do, Janet. Good point. Is that's the part where you get to crop it. And, you know, one thing we don't want to do is just add in a boat per se, because that makes it hard. We don't know the shadows. We don't know the perspective. So, but what we do know is we've got trees. We can take out a few trees if we need to. You can crop it, just like Janet decided to do. So that is a piece where you get to do as an artist. So, okay, are we ready for the next step?
Hey, Marie, just one more quick question.
Yeah.
Is less more? Like, I know with watercolor, it's hard to go back. So I'm not sure how pastels work.
Yeah, so I know that when you're using the pastels, you can wipe it off with your finger. You can use like a toothbrush if you want to scrape off. That's probably one of the things that I learned right away is just a very light touch with the pastel, very light. to begin with, because it is a little different than watercolor in that respect. So you don't necessarily have the option of just wiping it completely off where you don't see it. So it does force you to think about layering. And the reason why we're doing this value sketch, and this is usually how I start all my pastel paintings, is because your brain wants to go in, like Leah said, and do every single branch and every single leaf. So try to just go light with your pastel, Marcel, and just, I know oil is a little bit different, but just try to do it very lightly and kind of get a feel of the layering, because that's what we're going to start doing, is layering colors on top of each other.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Marie, pop on to the next step.
Okay.
Unless anybody else has questions. And like I said, I'm going to repeat this. If you're not sure what to do, better to watch her first and then try. If you think you know what she's going to do, you can follow along, but try to watch the process, because you may second guess it in a way that isn't part of the process. So go for it.
So, so the one thing about looking at this photo, I know this is distant and I want this to push back. So how do I push something back?
Make it darker.
Yes, we will make it lighter and cooler. Okay. So in order to push this little section back, I'm going to go in lighter and cooler. So I'm going to probably put in some, maybe some light blue here. And I'm thinking of what I'm going to put on my bottom layer. It's just like a wave. You know, you're thinking about underneath all these trees, and what is it? Is it cooler? Is it darker? Is it warmer? And we just know that I want to push these back. So I'm going to make it cooler. Drag a little bit down in here into the water.
What color is that? Is that kind of a...
This is kind of like a gray. Yeah, bluish gray.
Blue.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly more neutral, a slightly more mid-tone rather than dark.
Yep.
And it's actually a pastel stick, not new pastels.
Yeah, this is going to be a soft pastel. And I'm going to, this is kind of a purpley color, and I'm just pulling up, just slightly.
So a little bit like how we were applying paint yesterday, or the other day, for anybody who's taken painting. Remember that idea of like dotting lightly?
Yeah, just, and something also to think about when we're putting in our colors is, where else can I put it in my painting? It's not, it's good to have it kind of cohesive, right? Using some of these colors in these places. So I'm just kind of dancing the purple a little bit around here. And right now I'm trying to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere. So in order to get some color on here to kind of see the spatial pieces of where everything's working. So yeah, I'm kind of working through this with you as well. So this is going to be cooler, right? Farther back. So I'm going to pick some cooler greens. This is kind of like a blue green. And I'm just going to lightly scumble this over my blue. Not hard. At an angle.
What color? And that's a darker blue?
Yeah, it's a darker blue green.
Okay. I know it's a little bit tricky to see it on the Zoom, you guys, so she'll take a picture so you can see the color differences.
Yeah.
And Marie, why do we make the background dark? Why are the very far trees not darker?
Well, I want to push that back.
But
and
why
so,
is that true? Why is that the case? Do you know?
Well, because we know that the river is, I want the eye to follow, and we know that it's curving around.
Right.
And so we want the eye to follow this way. And so I'm directing the viewer.
Okay. And here's the other rule, which you might remember or might not. I know because you can see it because you're getting the colors in. Things that are farthest back are lighter in color and they're bluer in color. So when you're trying to show a landscape, the farthest pieces of the landscape, even if you were up close and those trees, as you can see on the right, are very dark, those trees in the background are the same type of trees, but they're going to look bluer and a little bit lighter than what's in front. That's because of the way blue light waves travel. So if you will go outside and look at any scene outside, you will see that the farther back you go, the bluer and lighter everything gets.
Yep.
So, sorry, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'll take a picture to show you. And I probably would like to have a little bit of that green here, just a little warmer green, because it's closer. As we move closer to the foreground, things get higher chroma. They're brighter in color and warmer in landscapes. So I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of this green off here.
Nice. Oh. Lori, that's beautiful. It's really fun to watch her process up close like this.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm going along just as you guys too, because this is something that I kind of just did on a whim. And so I'm kind of dragging the edge of my pastel, and it's kind of makes really fun marks like trees, and it indicates that those are trees. So I want you guys to practice with your pastel today to do that. And we don't want to lose sight of that. I'm just kind of scratching in here. And bringing a little bit of that green in, dragging it just lightly. Just lightly, because we do know there's a little bit of that green reflecting into the water. Okay, I think we need to get some of that sky in. So I'm going to go for almost the color of my mat, kind of this salmony color. And I'm just kind of carving in the tree line, just up and down a little bit. And yes, it is a little peachy pink, but I'm going to scumble colors over it.
So is that like a ochre, a yellow ochre?
No, it's like a salmon.
Ha!
And I'll take a picture here. We're thinking about the light. My guess is that when this picture was taken is that it was maybe the sun setting and we have this really nice warm, that's what I love about it, is that light. And so I really want to emphasize that.
Ooh.
It's really amazing what happens when you put in.
It sure is. Just a little bit of complementary colors.
Yeah.
So guys, remember, for those of you who have been taking painting, remember complementary color pair is blue and orange. So notice how that blue really pops and the orange really pop when you put them next to each other. Just even that.
Oops.
Yeah,
So
now
I'm
you're
gonna-
done. Don't do any more. I'm just kidding. I like this drawing. I love this painting at every step.
Okay, so we're just going to use a little bit of that salmon. We're just going to bring it in because we know that this light's probably reflecting right along these trees, and so along this bank, and so we're just going to kind of indicate a little bit just to remind ourselves where the light's hitting, and you know, bringing some of that color. And I'm just going to put a little bit into here. And I'll probably fill that in, but I don't really don't want to see these even spaces. It's so easy to do.
You want to make the patterns even when they don't exist.
Yep. And so it is, just be aware of that. Because really our focal point is here. So we don't want to put too much in here or over here. We want to keep it filled in pretty good. So I'm going to add a little bit of some yellow over the top here. This is just a light yellow. Just to kind of glaze and calm it down just a little bit. And I'll bring some a little bit down in here. Okay. I feel like I need to get some blue in here. So let's see, this is kind of like a dark navy blue. And let's get some I think I want to do some
Is this a
like
green or gray?
This is like a light
Blue?
blue.
Okay.
Can you take a picture of that, Marie, so we can
Yeah.
see it?
Yep.
Ugh, it looks so cool there. It's like a new thing when you take a picture of it and we can just see it.
This is so beautiful. Well,
Isn't it nice?
yeah.
And at every stage, it's kind of a beautiful piece. Right, so we talk a lot about like wanting to get to the details for things to look beautiful, but actually this is true impressionism, this way of working. Look at how she's, guys, laying down. Look at how she's alternating her strokes between fat and then going to the side. So her hand is actually switching. Do that again, that thing with the brush. So she's going across, down, doing a little tapping, using part of the sides, blending in a little into the pastel next to where she's going to create that feeling of a soft edge. It's nice. Watch that.
I'm just kind of getting this down to see where I'm going to layer some more colors over the top. So this is kind of just my base. Because I do know this is going to be lighter over here. This is going to be more in shadow, just because we know that these trees are blocking that light. So I'm always thinking about, where is the light? Color temperature, just like Leah said, as we need to know, like, what's in front of what. How do we tell? How do we know that these trees are in front of those trees? It's by the temperature, the value of what we've chosen. So that cooler pushes those back, the warmer pushes it forward. So we're always thinking that when we're doing landscape. We don't want to make it hard on the viewer. We want it to make it easy to read. And so, this is like a reddish purple. And I'm just going to kind of using the edge. And let's see. I start bringing in some blue.
Nice.
Just light, just glazing over the top. Glazing, just very light touch.
Marie, you may want to stop it. Oh no, keep going. Boy, that's so pretty. It's amazing, you guys, how different it is on the WhatsApp, isn't it? Than the colors than on the Zoom screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's significant. I'm glad we have WhatsApp. Gorgeous. If you're needing help or you have questions or you're not sure what to do, please don't hesitate, guys, to speak up and ask.
Yes, please.
Sometimes when you're in the middle of doing it, when you're teaching and you're in the middle of doing a demo, you get so into doing it, you sort of forget everybody else is there. I can say for myself that I forget. Marie's very good, but I'm like, I know I can forget. So don't forget to say, hey, help. If you need help.
I mean, that's So I'm just adding some lighter blues because I know as we're getting back in, that light is getting brighter and brighter. And so I'm just kind of lightly.
And it's getting farther away. So there's the light happening and it's getting a little farther away.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Because I'm working not with proper material, unfortunately, because I still didn't get the proper one. So both pastels and paper are not really ideal. At this point, like it's not layering, it's just mixing and it starts to look a bit, everything kind of a mess. So I was wondering.
Take a picture and send it.
I was wondering if it would actually help to just put the fixative on and put in the lighter, I don't know, other stuff after. I'll send it.
Send it over and let's see. It can be a fixative issue, but it might also be an application.
What were you
so
just?
It's good for us to see. Oh yeah, Marie, you want to tell them what that is? So somebody asked about that the other day.
Yes, sorry. This is a pipe insulation. It's like foam, and I use it for blending. Just to, it saves my fingers. I try not to blend too much, but sometimes I do need to soften the edges, and so I'll do that, and I'll show you. I'll take a picture. Just I kind of was using it up in the corner there. Okay, so Linda, you want to use a fixative? Is that what you're wanting to do over it?
Not really sure how to keep on adding a lighter colors without them mixing with the rest. Like they don't layer, they just mix up.
Mix.
Yeah.
Okay. What paper are you using again?
It's the, I'm not really sure. Just a moment.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's paper with some sort of kind of texture, which supposedly is for pastels, but then I've learned recently that yeah, I learned recently not to trust whatever it's even in art shops, whatever is written on the thing, because for pastels, really, unless it's, I've read about pastel mat and so on, which I'm trying to get, then it doesn't really work. It just, yeah.
No, it's annoying. That pastel paper is really annoying. I am totally with you. I don't understand why this is the thing. It's got so much tooth that it dips into it. It's like really annoying. It's not a fantastic paper.
Yeah.
When you get pastel mat, you'll see a world of difference. It's absolutely fantastic.
Pastel mat.
Yeah.
But it's expensive in the US. In Europe, it's much cheaper.
That's
for me,
what
it's
I
still kind
have.
of expensive, to be honest.
Sorry?
I've ordered it, but it hasn't come yet. Yeah.
You'll like it. It's very soft.
So Marcel, this is where you're going to see the difference. I'll jump in here because I know a little bit about oil pastels. This is where you're going to start to see the difference. It looks great still, but you're going to not have that soft blended. It's going to be a little trickier to get the soft blended edges that Marie's getting. My thought, Marcel, if you have a Q-tip and maybe some turpentine or rubbing alcohol, that you might try a little bit of that to get some blending happening. It might work. I don't really know because I've never really used oil pastels, but if you take a little rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, you can maybe get a little bit more of a blended look rather than a lumpy look. You know what I mean? Because they're lumping over each other.
Mm-hmm.
You might try that. You might try that.
Coconut oil and Q-tips.
Coconut oil.
Only because I don't.
You don't coconut. I don't think coconut oil will work as well. Well, we'll see.
Have the other right
you don't
now.
have rubbing alcohol in your house? You don't have any isopropyl alcohol? Oh, interesting. Okay.
I know.
Well, do what you gotta do. What you gotta do. I think the oil is gonna make it darker. I think the oil might make it darker. I don't think that will help you. But do the bet. You know, once again, it's good. You use what you got.
Totally. Yep. Thank you.
Use what you got. Okay, Lisa B, what do you mean help? This is looking great. Marie, stop.
Yes.
take a look at, stop and take a look at what people are sending in.
Oh, wow. Wow.
What's freaking you out, Lisa? Lisa, turn off your mute so we can hear you.
Sorry, good morning.
Yes.
I'm feeling like my trees aren't right and that I've kind of got a mess going on.
Marie, do you have some advice for her that she could work on?
So I think that with the trees, it's actually not terrible. What we need to do is get some more dark green at the base of your trees and kind of just bring it up vertical. And then maybe right below your snowbank in the back, put in some darker where the shadow is into the water to kind of to separate that a little bit, because right now it's all looking one because of values, right? It goes back to those lights and darks, those edges. Really pay attention to the edges where we see the light meet the dark.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at.
You might also, Lisa, try to soften the lights that you have in there. Is that what you just said, Marie?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Basically by adding some dark against it, you mean?
No, by blending the edge. So by bringing the light. So look at her edges on the left side. You've got kind of clumpy, hard line edges on your white. Just take a Q-tip or your finger and brush into the dark a little bit.
Brush
Marie,
the light into the dark.
Yeah, can you demonstrate that, Marie? Maybe on the right side there.
So
watch, Marie.
So what you want is see where the edges of the lights.
Yep.
Okay, and then this is where our darks are down in here, and so just, and you can take just the tip of your finger and just blend, but you want that definition a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that sounds very helpful.
Nice. And also, Lisa B, I could see you could do it a little bit on your snow that's on the riverbank going down the left side.
Yeah.
So same thing, kind of notice here on the top right. Marie, can you point to that, to some of your white snowbanks
right
on
here?
the left? Sorry, on the left, on the left. So see how the snowbanks are hitting the water?
Yeah.
See how they're hitting the water, and see how she has sort of blended out that edge rather than making it so hard.
Yep.
So it's almost all soft edges.
As you spoke about before.
As I spoke about before.
Yes.
It's one thing to speak about it. It's another thing to go. Our mind still wants to resist it, though. I totally get it.
It does. It's the weirdest thing.
We're just like, no.
My mind doesn't like to hear what it doesn't like.
Right?
There you go.
Does anybody's really? Does anybody really like to hear what they don't like?
and Leah has taught me how to sometimes turning your painting upside down. If I get so frustrated that I'm starting to paint every tree, I just turn it upside down, and all I can do now is look at the shapes. And it forces my brain to just stop looking at the detail, because as Leah knows, I love to go to detail, and I could spend hours in this little area. It's just it's normal, it's natural to feel that. So
isn't that amazing how much we want to do that? I do it too. Everybody, and what I feel like, Marie, and you can really see it in this piece, is how loose, beautifully loose you're working. I love the looseness of this. And look at how, even though it's loose, it's still reading hard areas, strong. The backs are looking back because she's making those distant. So Marie, I'm just double checking here. You, in that back area, you blended in some pink and a little bit of lighter blue to soften the edge around from the sky to the trees.
I did.
Okay.
So I decided that my tree line down here was making this awkward.
Too hard.
Yeah. And so I realized that I needed to kind of bring that tree line up. And so I decided to bring, so I'm going to push some of my trees just up a little bit darker and just
But it
lightly.
looks like you also softened it. You softened
Yes.
the edge.
Yes, I have a very light purple that I used, and I just kind of went and glazed over it a little bit.
Do we have a picture of that? Can you send that in?
Yeah, I'll send it right.
So do you guys get what she's doing back there? She is lightening. She's really doing a nice way of, she's creating a kind of foggier, a mistier background by lightening the back tree line, the tree line that's farther. And kind of softening, so notice, because that blue clump of trees is more the same value now as the sky, it all goes back. It pushes back. We don't go right to it the way we do any edge where, like, say a dark tree meets the light sky, right? Like, or snow meets the dark water. So where contrast is really strong between light and dark, that's where our eyes go. And one of the ways to push things back is to mitigate the get rid of the contrast so much, make things a little bit more the same.
Mm-hmm.
The sky is still lighter than the trees, but they're much more middle values than they are light and dark now.
Yep.
And look what that does. That automatically pushes things back. Not in the way you expect.
No, exactly. And so, I mean, right now, I added a little bit of a cooler green, but
Sandra,
similar value, and I kind of popped it on the edge of the trees because I kind of wanted it. Yeah.
Can you take a look at Sandra's? I think she's got some nice blocking in, but I think she could use some help with her edges. So can you take a look?
Yeah. So
very nice, Sandra.
Yep.
Good value definition.
Yes. Actually, and great look at the edges in the back. So I would bring your tree line down a little bit, the ones on the right here. I'd bring, so see how we, and this is what we want to do, right? We want to bring that at an angle because we know it's kind of curving around, but we really want to bring that snowbank down and make it more horizontal.
Okay, so darker.
So bring your tree line down a little bit, right over that white if you can.
Right.
And kind of straighten out that snowbank. And then we want to just blend in the trees just a little bit, but I love that. I love the color.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice. It's gorgeous. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful contrast, Sandra. Beautiful.
Very nice. Yes. Okay. So good, Janet. All right. So what we want to do again is blending those edges. So we want to bring the dark blue and here on the side and kind of just lightly drag it in. And then bring your light blue over. And so we're just kind of doing this with the water, just very lightly. And your white, your snowbank here, we're gonna wanna put some darker colors under it, right? Because it's reflecting down onto the water. Yeah.
Nice. Go ahead and send in where you are, guys.
Yeah.
It's a good place for Marie to stop and take a look at where you're at. It's okay if you don't like it. It's probably better than you think it is, and Marie can help you. So
well, and you notice I'm not doing exactly what I did on my first run through. You know, like I'm using that as a guide, but that's the beauty of redoing a picture over and over and over, is you get to play with color and you get to practice. And so I kind of wanted to emphasize the light in this demo. And so I'm kind of just playing along too. But there are rules, I guess, in the sense of value, right? Lights and darks when you're doing landscapes.
And blues in the farther background. And,
absolutely.
And, right? Like,
you don't realize how much, you realize how much you know. Oh, cool, Claudia, I like it. That is very moody.
I about your flower yesterday too. I was like, oh, what a great, beautiful, and kind of moody flower.
Yeah.
Flowers
So
are very dramatic.
the best thing you can do, Claudia, is like just start. So take your light. So you've got a lot of mid-tone dark values. So now you can pop in some lights, and it's going to really set some things up for you in your painting. If you've got some lighter purples even, or blues for your snow, just pop it right on top, just a little bit. Just lay it in. Like, you just kind of drag it just like that. Oh, I like it, Jeannie. That's pretty. So,
oh, Jean, nice. Claudia,
yeah, I love
Janet.
the colors. Good job.
Janet, you could go a little bit darker in your tree line on the left, I think.
Yeah.
I know you're doing all blues, but okay, I see what you're doing, right? Because you're doing an all blue thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And Jean, you could go darker in your base on the left side. Do you see that, Marie?
Yep.
The dark. So.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say is blending. Yeah, now go in with your trees on the left side, Jeannie. And so we're gonna want to bring those kind of over your snowbanks to break up the lines.
And also, Jean, blend out the white lines that are in your back tree line. We can't see them. Get rid of those. Those are really disrupting the sense of pushing back. You can't really see tree trunks that far back. So blend out those white marks. I love your reflection. Yeah, Claudia, this is fucking awesome. I love it.
I love it too.
I love that she's going with her own colors, but her values are still really distinct. Claudia, you might also try blending that back tree line into your skyline a little bit more, so it's a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
That'll create a sense of distance really quickly. Oh, Sandra. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
Gorgeous.
Yep. Yep.
Marie, is there a way she can distinguish? I feel like what's lost is that top. The only thing that we're losing right now is a little bit of the curve of the river as it goes away. Are you seeing that?
Excuse me. Yeah, so this is where you're going to want to work your edges, Sandra. So right here, you're going to want to maybe pop in like a little bit of indication of water coming into the back. And then, you know, maybe lighten or darken just a little bit off to the left-hand side.
Nice.
And probably maybe add just a little bit more cooler dark on the right-hand side. We want the viewer to go this way.
So there needs to be a little bit of darker hard lines.
Yep.
You'll notice with Marie's, and this is a real tricky, I hope you don't mind my jumping in here, Marie. There's just things I see that you're doing that I want to make sure people see and understand. One of the things that happens is that you will create dark lines and then mostly get rid of them.
Yeah.
But we still see them. So back there, it looks like it's all mushy and soft, and light. But in reality, there are some hard lines that Marie's added, and she's blended right up to the edge, so you can't consciously see them, but they're still there.
Yep.
Ooh, Marcel, very nice. Huh. It's gorgeous. Very nice. How are you liking the Q-tip, Marcel? Is that like giving you some good control?
Yep, totally.
I like it. I like it. I can see the use of it. Bravo.
I'm just trying to decide how much more to blend.
Marie, you have any thoughts on that? You want to take a look at
So
Marcel's?
on the blending piece, yeah, so.
Take a look at hers. She's doing oil pastels. So take a look and see if you have a thought.
What I love about the oil on your paper is the texture. So what I suggest, if you can try to, I don't know if you can smooth that out a little bit more in the water and leave that textured piece of the trees.
Yeah. So blending in the water, I think, is the
blending in the water would
Yeah.
be the goal at this point. If you can blend it and get it where it's really nice and smooth in a horizontal direction. It won't, right now it's competing because of the texture, it's competing with your trees. And I would also lighten a little bit in the back, your blue trees in the back.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice work, you guys. These are beautiful. Is everybody having fun? This is
I love
totally
it.
fun, isn't it?
I love how everything just kind of, everyone's interpretation. That's what's wonderful about it.
Yeah. Yeah. They're following the technique, but they're still doing their own thing.
Exactly. And paying attention to the light.
Mm-hmm.
So always thinking about where the light source is. If it's warm, it's cool. I'm using a warmer, yellowy pastel because I know the light's shining on this side of the bank versus I wouldn't use a yellowy over here. I would use more of a blue for the snow. So snow in the shadow is going to be a darker blue or sometimes even a purple. So thinking about that piece too, because we know that this is in the shadow, but it's water. And I'm just kind of using the edge of my pastel.
Let's see.
I feel like I need
Linda. Woo! Take a look at Linda's. Ah, that's gorgeous.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm
I
actually
love
very
it.
frustrated with it.
You're frustrated with it. It's really good.
I think you're doing a great job.
Okay.
Try.
I would like the light to be lighter, but yeah, I've got I put in some white as well, but it just keeps on blending with everything.
So if you want, you can try the fixative and see if that helps.
Yeah. You've
I
earned
don't.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, the worst thing is I don't want you to get frustrated.
Ooh, Lisa
but
B.
yeah. Oh, that's beautiful, Lisa.
Oh.
I love the spots of blue that you've put in places.
In the back there.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are all such good tips from you about putting those other colors in, like the green and the trees and
just in little bits,
start
right?
to see it. Yeah.
So beautiful. But so Linda, spray it. You've earned the right to spray it now because you've done the work.
Yes.
But your base, the bones of this drawing are beautiful. And I even like the soft little lights on the top right. I like that you've kind of lightened you've given us some sky on the left side. That is working with your composition.
It is.
Thank you very much.
It's not exactly a Northwest scene, which is what I think this is, or probably like a Northwest scene where you just can't see. There's 30 million trees for every person. But it's beautiful. I like the look, right? Like there's so many trees and there's just so few people. Really nice work, you guys. Super gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
And just to let you guys know, I am starting to get more active with my Instagram at the Roaming Studio. So I will grab stuff randomly from these sessions and put them out if I think the work is good. So if you don't want me to do that, you should let me know. And if you do want me to do that, you should follow the Roaming Studio and I can tag you. So I can already tell there's some beautiful work.
I'm just so excited about everyone's work.
Linda, yours is really emotionally moving me right now, particularly because you're working with that crappy paper. You're doing such a nice job.
Mm-hmm.
Marcel, I really like yours too, even though we're like totally using different materials. I'm fascinated by how how this is coming out. I really like it. There's things about it that, you know, you can't really do.
Well, I'm also wondering too, I don't know if it's easier to move oils around on hot press paper.
You might try.
Yeah.
You might try. Hot press is a little smoother.
Yeah.
I tend to prefer it myself. But like I said, neither Marie nor I has really been trained in oil pastels. So all I know is what my students do who do know pastels when they do an oil pastel when I'm doing a dry one. So I can see that there's some crossover. Mm-hmm. But I think that's, yeah, trying different papers until you find the one you want is definitely a good idea. And a good if you don't have to buy anything new. It would be nice if we can like figure out how to keep going like this. Maria's going to do, it's going to be pastel landscapes through at least January. And then we're going to decide if she's going to move to painting or not. So we'll see, just kind of depending on what the group wants and where we think you guys are. But at some point she's going to show you how to paint and look at those strokes. So now, so Janet, the question you asked at the beginning, look at how Maria's applying those edges to the reflection. Look at how she's going up and down and vertically and horizontally to start to darken the edges of the reflection, but that it's not as hard edged. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so reflections, that's a hard one. I'm still learning too, because I do a lot of landscape and oil, and it's essentially just trying to think about the colors I'm using up here. I also need to bring those down below in the water and not to forget about that. I'm just kind of at an angle. This is just my blue pastel that I was using earlier. One thing with pastels too is I was heavy-handed when I really started out, and I realized that I couldn't do that because I kept filling up the tooth of the paper, and so I've learned to just try to add color lightly, and I build up the layers. Doing that, taking your time. And so
great work.
Bring a little bit more into here. I'm just using the edge and kind of like tapping to indicate like maybe some branches. And I'm not drawing them like this. I'm just using the edge of my pastel and just kind of coming right into the sky area.
Do that again, please.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I just wanted to see it again.
Yeah, just the edge. Maybe add a little bit of the probably need a lighter. I do like the Terry Ludwig's for that fact of the square. I can do the branches a little bit easier, so it is kind of nice. But they tend to be so expensive. This is kind of just a gray blue. I'm just kind of tapping to the back side of the trees here. Kind of calming down that bright blue. Kind of feel like I need to get some snow right in here. Just using the edge and then pulling down lightly. So I kind of run it horizontal and then pull down and pull down. Kind of gives that nice reflection. And just a little bit.
Ooh. All right, I was running away doing things. This is gorgeous. Ooh, 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 ooh. Look at how her hand is almost floating. And I know it's partly a little bit awkward because she's having to kind of reach around a camera. So you can't really lean on the thing. But also look at how her hand is floating as she's applying color. So there's no, as she says, heavy-handedness at all. And now in a couple of places, she's adding stronger, harder lines for her white. But notice how she does it. It's sort of random directions. It's not like one this way, one this way. Even the hard lines have kind of a light touch to them. Very nice. Bravo.
Yeah, it is. It's all about just layering.
Is any yellow going to go into this? I don't know if there is.
I did put some yellow down here, and then I'm going to put some up into the sky a little bit.
Okay. Is it the time for that?
Not quite. I mean, we can. I was going to start dealing with the bank over here and some of the water. I feel like I need to get some more of that water in.
Got it. We have about half an hour left, just so that you know. So there's plenty of time, I think, to do what you want to do.
Yeah. It's kind of, I try not to spend too much time in one area, which is easy to do. And so I'm just kind of adding in some shadow. And let's see here.
So what color is that? It's like
This
a
is like
gray or-
a, yeah, it's like a gray, almost like a gray. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I need my.
This is like a periwinkle. Kind of makes nice reflections in the water. It's amazing how much layers. This is so in oil. I'm basically, what I do in oil is I do glazing in between steps. So I'll tone a lot of the painting with a mix of Galkid and a color. And so with pastel, you're kind of just lightly going over, and that idea is glazing with a color over another color and just kind of toning it. And that's how you can control your colors a little bit better. If it gets too bright and you need it to quiet it down a little bit, you can go over it like I did in the back. I'm going to come in a little bit of the yellow. And I'm just kind of carving like a negative shape painting, where I'm kind of going along the edge. Yeah, that's much better, Jeannie. So in order to get rid of that straight line, bring out some of your tree with your pastel. And so you're gonna go like this, and you're gonna add an angle. And you're gonna kind of just break up those lines, just kind of like that. And so then what happens is that those the banks, the snowy banks get pushed back. Because now we're laying this over.
We can't see because of your phone.
Oh, thank you. Yes, don't want that to happen. And that's why it helps when we're putting in the
What color are you
branches.
using now? I can't really tell.
This is just a green, like evergreen, kind of like has a little bit of a blue tint to it.
Okay.
I'll take a picture. Yeah. So Janet, good. What I would do now is kind of see how you have that line coming right very like even. You need bring out some of your tree and blend.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about the center. So before I mess it up with my own thoughts.
Yeah.
So the darker blue in the center, all that white showing through. I'm wondering what to do in that area.
So see how I'm dragging the pastel down? That's what.
So my pastels are round, and I'm having trouble getting that effect with the round shape.
Okay, so one tip is you can take it on the side of if you have another extra piece of your pastel paper, you can kind of like create an edge by just rubbing it up and down on the side of the paper. Also, you can get the smaller new pastels, these smaller pieces for the edges if you need them, and those help a lot.
Okay, so what color should I do that with the dark color?
So yeah, you want dark green and come along the edge here a little bit.
Yeah, but what about the water in the middle as well?
And then the water, just bring in some more blues.
The dark blues, all the blues?
I would do a lighter blue in the center, and then work with the dark blue. So when you squint your eyes and you're looking at the picture, you see a lot of that dark shadow off to the sides. Yeah. And so you're gonna want, again, this is your pathway, your eye. And so you're gonna kind of want that lighter value leading your eye to the back.
Okay.
So lighter here, work to your darks on the edges. Oops.
What are we doing now?
This, I'm just kind of filling in the back, and then I'm going to go back over it with the green. Just was kind of bothering me. This is just the purple. I'm just kind of putting in. Almost like it would be the shadows.
I think I'm done.
You think you're done?
I think so. I think I'm getting, it's getting very powdery.
Okay, send.
I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, send a picture. I like to see it.
See what's missing, please.
Well, that's pretty. I love it. I love it. Sandra?
Ready? Oh, and actually, Lisa's is fantastic as well.
Yeah, Lisa, that really came along.
Yeah.
Janet, looks great. Did you tell Janet? Oh, Sandra. Yeah.
I think those are beautiful.
That reminds me of like a that was there a Matisse painting of the church with the reflections?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things like that.
Just beautiful.
Janet, are you getting into more blending? I feel like there's. Okay, great. That's what I think will help you the most. At this point, if you're feeling like, blend your base layers, and if you're really struggling, you can fix and then put your lighters on top.
Yes. Yep. That's the, you know, just bringing
Backstop.
in and then glazing and bringing the colors back and forth.
So when you say glazing in pastel, Marie, what do you mean by that?
So I'm lightly taking a color and going over another color. And yeah, so you're like blending.
Hey, Sandra, I particularly liked how you picked you fixed your trees on the right-hand side. You made them bushier at the top. Very, very nice. Good. Yeah, that really worked. I saw you do, I see what you're doing there, and it's great.
Yeah, we started out badly, didn't we?
There was just too much light in that area, but you brought it in, you know, like you brought in the darks.
But you worked through it, Sandra. That's the thing. So feel good about that. Yeah. It's when we run into those problems, we need to think about what do I need to do. A lot of times it's your edges, and it just is. It helps so much if you just pay attention to your edges and look at your values.
So you guys, I'm going to propose a little experiment after this class is over.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
I want everybody to go outside or look outside their window and try to get a shot of the view from their window that shows a little bit of distance. Because I want you all to see how things as they go away from us become bluer and lighter, no matter what they are. So I think it would be fun to see where everybody lives. If you're in an apartment in New York City or New Jersey, you can just kind of stick out the window and go the direction where you can see the farthest away and take a shot. If you're in a place where you can step outside, what we want is something that gives us a little distance, not like a close in of our backyard, but you know, something that shows distance.
Leah, that confused me at first, because when you're working more up close, if you want something to recede, you make it darker.
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you do that. Yet there are Frederick Church paintings I've seen where he's done the exact opposite. He's made it light. It depends on kind of where you're. I agree, you need a transition from one to the other. But yeah, so what I want you guys to do is when this class is over, take a picture of your outdoor environment where you can get a little bit of distance, where you can see far off areas as well as up close. I will do it. In fact, I will do it right now. Show you what I mean.
So Sandra, I think that I agree with you, and some, like Leah said, sometimes you do are darker, but in this case, the light, we know the light is shining at an angle and it's backlighting our trees and it's casting this light shadow on pieces. And so we know that the light is kind of like blurring out these trees. And so in order to push that back, we need to make it lighter. Because if we made it darker, too dark, it would compete.
No, in this case, because the light is at the back. But yeah, say if you were to look in a room or paint a room, it's because I'm not used to doing landscapes at all. So that's a rule that I thought it was the opposite.
Yeah. No, this is. So if you're in the room, say that again.
So maybe when you're not working such long distance,
Okay.
and of course here the sun very much interferes, but usually if you want something to recede, you make it darker rather than lighter.
Okay.
Or like even if you do sort of an animal, or even to show a curve, to show that it's lower and therefore it's darker.
Huh.
So I wasn't at all aware that
Yeah.
in landscaping it's the opposite.
Oh my God, I got so excited when I went out there to take my picture and I saw Janet and Sandra's and Marcel's drawings come in. These are fucking great, you guys.
Aren't they beautiful?
They're great. Ah!
Really?
You see what I mean, Marie, about the oil pastel? Look at, it's a different mark making, but it has its own thing.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I love the texture of it.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Janet, you pulled that out. Gorgeous.
Oh, that's great.
My butt, Leah.
What?
I said, I feel like I pulled it out of my butt.
You pulled it out of your butt. You pulled it out of your butt. That is, yes, that's the definition of how painting feels.
It does.
So you guys will notice that I took a picture. I had to go out into my house, into the middle of my street. And you'll see that there is a far off tree line kind of in the center. It's kind of a similar, if you look close to this picture here, you'll see that this back layer of trees is bluer and lighter than the trees that are closer and on either side of it.
Yes.
This is not just true of trees, it's also true of anything. So I'm curious to see what you don't have to do it now, but if you want to do it after class, show us what your outdoors where you can get a stretch, where you can kind of see long. Show us what it looks like near you.
So I'll send you mine, Leah, but I'm not going outside because it's raining.
Oh yeah, okay, yes, we want you to be
But
careful.
it's only my garden, so maybe it's not far enough.
It may not be far enough. Oh, well, almost. Here, hold on. Oh, Sandra, that's beautiful out there.
That's a lovely garden.
Can you,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a little hard. It's not quite far enough because we want to get like the buildings that are behind that. So later, but thank you for, also, I just thought, I really like to see where people live. It's kind of
no, that's kind of cool.
Kind of a voyeurism of I want to see what everybody's looking at when they go outside.
I think that's awesome.
It's beautiful. Marie will do it when she's done with class too. You'll see. She lives about 20 minutes away from me, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can
city.
Get a picture here. Sorry, guys.
Oh my God, Marie.
There we go. The Paris view.
Oh, Claudia. Yes. All right. So
isn't that beautiful?
Oh my God. You're just trying to make us jealous, aren't you, Claudia?
So
Claudia, notice that the buildings, it's a little bit harder to see, but notice that the buildings that are farthest away are slightly more grayish.
Yep.
In color.
Yep.
Oh, Marcel. Oh my God, that's so gorgeous. Marcel, where do you live? That looks.
Yeah.
Where do you live in Portland? What street is that?
That looks like down near Selwood. Is that Selwood area?
Oh, we're not hearing you. Oh, she's probably still out there shooting it.
Are you talking?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out where you live in Portland. We were trying to guess where that is.
It's Mount Tabor.
Oh, God, I love that area. So beautiful. So you can see it a little bit in Marcel's shots that the trees that are farther enough, they kind of look yellowish, but they're lighter than the trees that are closer to the front. Oh my God, that's gorgeous. Anyway, also just really fun. Marie, yours is becoming insane. It's like this color masterpiece. Marie was like, I'm not sure about this. I've only done one snow scene, which was the one I did this week. And I'm like, this is great.
Well, right. I I do like color, so it's fun.
So you're probably ready to stop working on yours, Marie, and just have a look at what people are doing. So
yeah, and I like the idea of the pictures. That's a great idea of taking pictures to see in landscape why it is cooler, because it is hard to.
If you can see that landscape that's over Marie's shoulder right now, her left shoulder,
my painting.
See very distinctly that mountain in the far back is bluer and a little bit lighter than the mountain in the close-up. And that's the hard thing to wrap our mind around, is that something that looks the same. It's interesting.
Can you see it? I don't know. Might be hard to see.
Oh yeah, we can totally see it. We can totally see it. Actually, that's something we can see even on the Zoom screen.
Okay.
From far away.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Totally, you can totally see it.
Okay.
Although when you see where Marie lives outside, it's quite pretty. Let's see. Oh, Claudia. Wow. You nailed it. We say you nailed that one. Gorgeous.
I can't believe that's beautiful. I just love, everyone did so well today.
These guys are really good at going. I think what's one of the things that's nice about online classes is that you are kind of forced to work with what you've got a little bit more than when somebody's in the studio. So although we are requiring that you guys watch us and try to see what's going on, I still feel like that gives you a little bit more freedom to try other things out. Sandra.
Oh, wow.
God, you should frame that.
Yeah, that looks, you did a really good job of correcting. See how that looks and reads better with your snowbank in the back and your tree line came down.
I really wasn't very hopeful at the beginning, I have to say. So well done, shepherding.
Yeah, it's good. Just remember, it's easy to jump ahead because your instincts
No, but she's actually moving very fast, and afterwards you don't even know what colors were used to do what if you wait.
So we can slow it down for you, but also don't jump in until you watch for a little while. We can always walk it back. Don't try to anticipate what we're doing, because I guarantee she's going to do it in a different way than what you're expecting. So the whole point of this, but if either of us is going too fast, you guys slow us down. You're our bosses.
Oh, wow.
There were so many layers and so many colors.
It's so beautiful, but that's okay. We can break it down. Oh, Natalia, Linda, Natalia.
Beautiful. So Linda, that really worked with your spray. Did you spray it, Linda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, and it actually made it darker, which was also what I needed. So
that's what spray will do. It'll make things darker. So that's why you tend not to put it on your top layers, because you'll lose the lightness of your top layers, right? Once you get them the way you want. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God.
So that's a great first start, Marie.
Oh, you guys, thank you. You guys did amazing. And I know I tend to paint a little fast and I can slow down. I think the biggest thing for you guys is, just like Leah said, watch me paint and process. I'll stop, address it, and Leah's teaching me to stop in between and work that. So thank you for being patient with me on that. I think that when you get into your painting, into your flow, you're just thinking and going. And so I'm learning to also verbalize as I'm thinking and going.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
It's really hard.
Yes, become good at it, but
it's the blend of the two, of the right brain and the left brain, right? Because the right brain is just seeing the shapes and the movement and trying to capture them. And the left brain is trying to put words on it. So it's kind of melding those two in a way that's tricky. But anyway, so we will sometimes go too fast, and you guys, I'm here to help. I'm not trying to bug Marie. I'm here to help Marie, learn her flow, get that flow down. But both of us go fast. So even between the two of us, we don't really always slow down enough. So.
And that's why Leah records these too. I highly recommend going back and looking at them and watching, I watch a lot of artists paint, and I just watch. And then as I watch, I'm thinking about what I would do, or I try to anticipate what the artist is going to do. That's also training your mind to think about things. So I hope that through our process, through our classes, that they'll have the confidence. Yeah. I just want you all to feel good. Yes, that's what I want.
These paintings are so good, you guys.
They're
beautiful.
I'm a bit delayed today because it was so hypnotizing just watching the process. So I was like watching, and I was
good.
Aww.
Good.
Really
I know
fun.
it's really fun to watch, Marie. And don't you think it's good to have a little change of pace? Like, she does do things differently than I do, and I like that.
It's nice to do something different. And
yes.
It's interesting because I use different paper and different pastels. I used my Senneliers because when you sent us your palette, I figured I had more what I needed in there. I almost never use them.
Which ones do you like? Which ones do you like?
I love Giro for my cats.
The Giro, right? That's right. Right.
Oh, you sent me a link, and I have not gotten any of those yet. So
it's because I like detail, so it's the opposite of this.
Right.
So this will be good for you then, because I'm a detail person too. So this will help you. It truly will. Doing the beginning of the painting that I did in a value, just one, the blue and then the lights and darks, it's going to help. Yeah, that looks great.
Well, it's interesting working loosely because I don't know how to, and Leah has been trying to teach me.
We're getting there.
The same, Sandra.
Slowly. We're getting there slowly. And I think sometimes it helps to see it in the different, this is something that you learn by doing it and making mistakes, really. Yep. There's no way to conceptualize it because it's so different than how we left brain analyze things. So when we left brain analyze things, we're taking them at their surface value and we're trying to figure out what we're looking at. But when you're working with right brain, you're actually having to take the thing apart to see what's at the base. And that is intellectually a different process. Like, it's a different intellectual process. It's not about what the thing is. It's more about shapes, colors, values, and less about trees, water, snow,
right,
sky, right? So that's the really hard thing, is that we're used to thinking, this is a tree, this is snow, this is a sky, this is the river. But we're not, but when you're thinking like that, I like to think it's a little bit more like a car mechanic. Like, you're taking apart pieces out and then you have to remember how to put, it's more going, oh, okay, here's the thing. If I take all these things out, this is what makes the car run. And then this piece works here to do this. And now I can put my windshield wipers on, and now I can put heat on the car. And now my oil thing is here. So you start to, you have to think about it more in a, how do I break down the pieces way? And that is not the left brain way. The left brain way is to see it and know what to call it. The right brain way is what's underneath that makes that work.
And that's so doing the ways, actually, Sandra, was when it taught me how to look underneath the foam, right? Underneath those layers, just what colors, what do I see? And then build those layers up. That's going to give you that depth and those lovely colors, and you're doing great. This is a process all of us still work on.
I'm really enjoying it. So
awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to end the class because I've got to run off and do something else. But we will see you guys. I haven't sent this out yet. Janet and Natalia, keep an eye out. And Sandra, I'm going to send you a calendar of when the weekly classes are and at what times they start locally. Great. So I think this is going to be much easier in terms of trying to visualize. It's a PDF you can print out. It's one page. It has everything that's available. And if you guys want me, if you don't want me to put what you've already got on the WhatsApp thread, work on your drawing a little more and send it in again in the later version, because otherwise I'm going to grab what I see right now.
Grab away.
Yes, really wonderful work. Huh?
Yeah.
Do we have to
Oh, I have Pastel.
We call that your pastel baptism. You guys did.
Amen.
Right? German Catholic.
Do we have to sign up? Because you were talking about a sign.
No, you do not have to. So anybody who's in the Art at Work program can just show up. People who are individual people who are just joining and paying, you'll need to register. So yeah, don't you, anybody who's at Art at Work, that means their company has paid for this. Marcel, we should talk about Kaiser. Maybe we can get Kaiser to pay for it and then you don't have to pay.
Yes.
At least we know people at the top who might know the value of it.
That's right.
All right. So we will see you guys later. Great work today. We'll see you
Good
next
job,
week.
Marcel. I like what you did.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you very
Rossetti.
much.
Bye.
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 Thank you very